Hi guys, it's Bridget here from Bridget's Kitchen. Thank you so much for joining me on this slightly cold Sydney day. Look, it's an exciting class today and I'm really glad that you're here being a part of it, because what we are actually doing today is we're going to be doing a healthy soup cooking class. So I have 4 recipes for you today, which is a bit crazy when you think about it. I have 4. We're going to run through 2 of them pretty in depth, but in saying that, I'm using the same base for all 4 recipes. So it's not like I'm giving you 4 completely separate recipes. I'm giving you one base or one stock, and from that stock you can make as many healthy recipes, healthy soups as you like. So it's, like I said, it's an exciting class, and it's even more exciting because what we have to share with you guys today is fabulous. So within a couple of weeks, we're hoping 2, maybe 3 weeks, we're about to launch a brand new website where you can access all of my recipes. In fact, we're going to have a base of over 100 recipes on this website. Once you access all those recipes, you will then get sent one brand new Bridget's Healthy Kitchen recipe. Every single day will be emailed out to you. If you think that's something you might want to be a part of, keep an eye out, because we're about to launch this website. It's going to be members only. We're charging a very small fee. It works out to about $1.35 a day, and you get all of my recipes, you get access to all of my videos, and you also get a brand new recipe emailed to you every single day. So keep an eye out for that. But today's all about healthy soup, because it is getting colder. And I'm not sure whereabouts in the world you're coming from. If you are in Hawaii, it's going the other way, right? It's actually getting warmer. But these soups are so fabulous, there's no reason why you can't make it. Because what we're talking about, especially with these soups, is number 1, it's healthy, of course. Number 2, there is 0 fat added to any of these soup recipes. So all the recipes I'm giving you today are fat-free. The other cool thing is there's no gluten, which is wonderful. And the 4th really amazing thing is there is absolutely no sugar. So you're getting these recipes, they're really, really good for our bodies, they're nice and hearty, they're great for people who maybe want something a little bit warmer. If you're getting the sniffles, there's lots of garlic in there, there's lots of ginger in there, and it's just fabulous. So let's get into the cooking. Actually, before we do, one important thing. Let's talk first about the broth that I am making. So Mace, if you just want to sort of just come over to here and have a little look into my pot. Can you get in there? Yeah, he's in that pot. In my pot here, I have water, and it has just been simmering away for about maybe 4 to 5 hours, not boiling, just simmering away. Now, as well as the water in my pot, and this is the base, that's why it's really important that we start with the base. As well as my water in the pot, I also have Kombu. Now, Kombu is a type of, well, it's another name for seaweed. Looks like this. Looks like a bit of leather. It's kind of hard and you know, it's got a bit of a bend to it. But there is so much flavor and goodness in this kombu. What I do to make the broth is I put my kombu, or my seaweed, into my big pot of water, and I allow that to very, very slowly infuse. So the flavors come out of the seaweed and they infuse into the water, and that becomes our base. Kombu is great for many, many reasons. One of the reasons it is great is that it's really high in iodine. So it's really good for people who are looking at weight loss as a potential side effect to all this good eating, but it's also really good iron levels as well. So that's what I've got in there. If you're wondering where to purchase your kombu from, the best place to get kombu, and it's where I buy mine, is I go to my Asian supermarket. I'm quite close to Hurstville, anyone who's familiar with Sydney, which has some amazing stores up there. And I go into my supermarket and I buy this packet of kombu. That's probably enough for 3 to 4 litres of stock. You don't need to use much. And if you want any of these recipes, all you need to say is chicken soup, please, because that's what we're doing, chicken soup, please. And we'll send the recipes out to you. But all these recipes, remember, have this base. So this kombu and this water. That is the base. I don't use chicken stock because I'm not sure how much pre-prepared chicken stock, how much sodium's in there. I'm not sure how much fat is in there as well. I also don't make chicken stock from a chicken carcass because there also may be a higher fat level, whereas this is literally water, and seaweed. So it's the perfect base for our healthy cooking. So the first soup that I'm going to do for you guys today, I'm just going to move out my chair. The very first soup I'd like to show you guys is a chicken and broccoli soup. So in my little bowl here, I have some broccoli that I've cut up into florets, little small pieces of broccoli or florets. And this soup is so easy, it's literally so easy to make. I'm going to show you guys just how easy it is. Take my water off, grab myself up a bit of a pot, and then all I need to do is to put my kombu water into my pot. That goes in first. A bit of that goes in. As well as that, I'm going to put in some garlic, and it's just chopped up garlic, finely chopped up garlic goes in as well. One of the most beautiful things that we can do for ourselves during winter is to use as much fresh ginger as possible. So I've got some fresh ginger there. I'm going to grate my ginger in. Now you may be asking yourself, can I use pre-grated or pre-blended ginger and garlic? The simple answer is no. I would suggest you don't. The reason being, if you have a look, if you've currently got some pre-minced garlic in a jar sitting in your fridge, I would love you to go over to your fridge right now and have a look at that jar. Read the ingredients on the back, because what you might find is those ingredients are not just ginger or not just garlic. A lot of these pre-mixed jars have sugar, also known, they may call it dextrose, they may call it sucrose, they may call it glucose. It's sugar. A lot of them also have gluten in them as well, and salt. So the best thing that you can do for your soup and for yourself is to go fresh. Always go fresh where possible. So ginger's in there. We've got garlic in there. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit, because the next thing that I want to do is I want to throw in my broccoli. So the broccoli goes in, and this, by the way, this soup is not going to be blended. So it's going to be, you're going to eat the broccoli whole as the florets. And the reason why we do that instead of whizzing it all up with a blender is we want the fiber content to stay within our soup. So it's really important that we don't blend it up. So cutting your broccoli into even sized florets is definitely quite important here. So the broccoli's in there. I'm going to bring that pot to the boil, and all I need to do now to make it a chicken and broccoli soup, pretty easy. I have some shredded roasted chicken. That is going to go in as well. The shredded roasted chicken, and I'm using chicken breast, by the way, no skin, is also going to help to flavor that beautiful kombu stock or kombu water that we already have. So all I'm going to be doing now to this is adding a little bit of tamari. I'm adding a salt reduced or low sodium tamari into that. Just I think it's a tablespoon or something like that in the recipe, or a couple of teaspoons. We're going to add some pepper. I don't need to add any salt to this one because we've already got enough salty flavors happening with the kombu and with the tamari. Give that a little bit of a mix, and that is my soup almost ready to go. All I need to do now is just cook the broccoli through. That'll take about 3 to 4 minutes, and your soup is done. So here's a really good tip for you guys. Make your kombu water. Have at least 4 to 5 litres, because it lasts for a long time. Make at least 4 to 5 litres of kombu water, and then store it in your fridge, because then you have got soup or a potential dinner or lunch ready to go, and it's going to take you as long as it takes you to cook the broccoli, which is, 10 minutes of that. Bring the kombu water to the boil, add the broccoli, add the chicken, and then you're done. So that is soup number 1. All right, are we ready for soup number 2? Yes, we are, because my induction cooktop is going to start beeping at me. So soup number 2, we start with another pot. That's always helpful. We go back to our kombu water. Now this soup that I'm doing is a chicken noodle soup. Some of you may have already seen my chicken noodle soup. I have posted a quick little video about it before, but there's no harm in us doing it again, right? So the kombu water goes in there for a start. We go back to the old favorite, which is ginger grated in to the water. We're going to put in a little bit of garlic. We are also going to put in our tamari. And this time we're going to put our chicken, our shredded chicken is going to go straight into our water. just like that. That is just going to come to the boil. Now, I previously made some some zucchini noodles here, and you'd think that I would put the zucchini noodles into the soup. No need to do that. All you need to do is actually put the zucchini noodles straight into your bowl. I've got my bowl in here. You know what? Actually, we'll do it in this bowl. Let's do it in this bowl, because then you guys get to see what's happening. Better than that one. So I've got my zucchini noodles in there. Oh, actually, I need a knife. Is someone able to retrieve me a knife? I forgot. It's all right. I'm gonna. No, it's all right. I'll grab it. Yep. I'll just sneak around here. I can see. There we go. Okay. Forgot one of the most vital things that we need to cook with. Okay. So the zucchini noodles are there. I want to add a few herbs to that, and the best herbs that I could use in this, because we are putting a hot broth on it, is the old favourite friend of mine, Mr. Coriander. So I've got a few bits of coriander there. And then taking up our knife, just very quickly run your knife through your coriander. Leaves, stalks, all the flavour is in there, ready to be devoured in your soup. I've got my soup over here, look at that, it's bubbling away. Coming to the boil, which is wonderful. I'm going to add my coriander or my fresh herbs straight into my zucchini noodles. Now, the reason I'm not cooking these zucchini noodles is because they just don't need them. They do not require, you can have it raw, you could have it just like this as a salad if you really wanted to. It doesn't require any cooking whatsoever. But we have that beautiful hot, you can see it bubbling away there. We have that beautiful hot broth that's ready to go. Our noodles are now ready to go. So I'm making a bit of a mess, there we go. I'm going to add a little bit of pepper to that. Once again, I don't need to add any salt because we have enough salty type flavours happening in our soup. So once your soup has come to the boil, so it's boiling rapidly so we know it's nice and hot, I'm going to pour it straight over my zucchini noodles. Oh, look at that! Isn't that fabulous? And then let's take some, we haven't got any chicken in there. That's not right. We're going to have some chicken. Chicken goes in. And that is how simple it is to make that soup. So imagine you've got your kombu water in the fridge ready to go. You spiralize or make zucchini into noodles. And then all you need to do after that is heat up your broth, heat up your chicken. Let's stick a few of these beautiful fresh bits of coriander over the top as well. You could add chili to this if you wanted to, or instead of the chicken you could do a prawn and zucchini noodle broth as well. So those are some nice little options for you, but I think that's pretty fabulous. And that is soup number 2 ready to go. So that I'm going to put off to the side as well. Sorry, Mace. Soup number 3. How are we doing for time, guys? We doing all right? Very good. Wonderful. Okay, soup number 3. Once again, very, very simple soup. Now, this particular recipe, by the way, is not included in our little recipe package. If you want this recipe, you can either scroll through Bridget's Kitchen, because I have shared it previously, or you can wait for our website to be launched. Completely up to you. But it is the same broth, of course, that we're using here. The same broth goes in. It's so versatile, this broth. I literally always have a couple of litres of it in the fridge. I'm never without it. And this is even during the hotter months. Because not only is this broth really, really good for making soups, but it's also a nice base if you're wanting to make a curry or something like that as well, and you're needing to add some stock or needing to add some broth. This is fabulous. So we have that now going back on the boil. The next soup that we're doing is a chicken and cabbage soup. Sounds a lot better. Oh, tastes a lot better than it actually sounds. It's phenomenal. It's like that chicken and zucchini one. It's such a simple concept, but it tastes so good and it's so hearty. And literally, if you've got the sniffles or you're having a bit of a cold, encase yourself over that bowl of soup. Breathe in and you get the garlic, you get the ginger, and you get that wonderful kombu broth going straight into your sinuses, which is perfect. So the next soup we're doing is chicken and cabbage. And like I was saying, it doesn't sound that fabulous, but it is literally my favorite soup. I absolutely adore it. So we have our chicken that's gone in there because we want our chicken to begin to flavor our kombu broth, which is really important. It's the same. Oh, we got a question. We have a question. Thank you, Coco.
Sharon asked, could you simmer the kombu in a slow cooker?
Yes, Sharon, absolutely. You can simmer the kombu in a slow cooker. You can, in fact, fill up your slow cooker with water, add your pieces of kombu, and then leave it on overnight. By the time you wake up the next morning, you've got the perfect broth. And it's another little trick for you guys is what I like to do is I like to, even when my kombu broth is in the fridge and I have it in glass jars, I leave the kombu or leave the seaweed in it because it will continue to help flavor that water. So very good question. Yes, you can slow cooker your kombu. So we're putting our garlic in there. Of course, you guys know what's next. I don't even have to say it anymore, eh? You know where I'm going with this. Ginger is so lovely and spicy, and it's just wonderful. And if I feel a cold coming on, I'll add twice as much ginger. So it's really, when it comes to, these recipes and that I'm sending out, guys, you're allowed to play around with them and adjust them. You don't have to stick to mine. Mine is just the base. Mine is the base. It's up to you to create it and make it your own. So I'm putting a bit of ginger in there because I love it, and it's so good because it's fresh. It's just phenomenal. Okay, ginger's done. I'm going to add, once again, a little bit of our low sodium tamari goes in. It's going to help to flavor our kombu just so nicely. And now all we need to do to finish this soup off is I have some cabbage. We've got one more question. Thank you, Coco.
We have a question from Bruce, and he asked, can you freeze the soup for kombu?
Okay, great question from Bruce. Can you freeze the kombu, as in the water or the soup? Oh, can you freeze the kombu? Yeah, yes, you can. Absolutely, you can. It may you may need quite a big container because the kombu still stays quite big, but there is nothing stopping you from doing that. Freezing it, and it freezes really well because it's literally just water. So it freezes really well. Great question. Thank you, Bruce. Okay, so cabbage. As you can see, I'm using just a normal white cabbage. I have cut it up fairly finely, but I've kept it so it kind of reminds me of noodles. And that's why I think I like it. It's almost like I'm having this noodle broth with chicken through it, and it's wonderful. So all I need to do is add my cabbage in there. I am going to add some herbs because that's just how we roll, and herbs are wonderful. And look, can I just show you that? Isn't that gorgeous? There is so much flavor going on with this coriander. Okay, for those who don't like coriander, and I know there's a lot of you out there, instead of coriander, you could add chives. You could add, I've got some garlic chives here, if you wanted to add those into it. You could add mint, but I would add it right at the end. You could add basil, but I'd also add that right at the end because those types of herbs tend to not be too fond of too much heat. So I wouldn't boil the basil or the mint. I would add it when I'm literally plating up this soup. When I'm putting it into my bowl, that's when I would add it. But coriander is quite robust. Despite the fact that it's a very fresh herb, it has a lot of stickability. So it's not one of those herbs that wilts away when you give it too much notice. It's actually quite fantastic. So we're going to add our coriander. I'm going to start at the stalks, which is my favourite part of the coriander. And that is going to go on the stalks, just like that. The cabbage doesn't need that long to cook because it's so thin, and I love it with just a little bit of a bite to it as well, because then I really feel like I'm having noodles. I'm feeling like I'm having something so generous and robust when it comes to the soup. And it's kind of the same with the zucchini noodle soup as well, the chicken noodle soup. You feel like you could be having a big bowl of noodle broth, but in fact it's really, really good for you. So we've got our cabbage. It's only been in there for a couple of minutes. It doesn't need very long. Once again, if you don't want to do the chicken, you could do you could break up fish and put it into there. You could do it with prawns as well. But chicken is quite a nice lean protein, so it's good for us. So that's why I'm using chicken. And the chicken meat really does go through the broth, and it really permeates quite nicely. So it's boiled. It's been there for a couple of minutes. I reckon it's probably ready to go. So I'm just going to put it into my black bowl today, which is definitely going to help to stand out with some wonderful colour. You see it steaming? Love it. I'm definitely a big soup fan. Definitely a big soup fan. And these type of soups just make me feel pretty good about myself because it's I know that I'm doing my body a favour. I really do. You know, chicken noodle soup for the soul, isn't it? Chicken soup for the soul? Definitely, it's for the body, not just for the soul. It also helps us to heal. That's going to go on top. Turn you off. So I'm not sure if can you get into that little bowl, Mace? We've got our wonderful chicken soup in there. I'm going to add a few more herbs just to the top. Mint right now would be fabulous. I don't have any mint, so I'm going to add some more of our coriander. I have some basil over here, so I'm going to add some basil. As I was saying, don't add the basil till right at the end because it doesn't like it if you boil it. It really doesn't. So you just want to be quite gentle with these types of herbs because they're very delicate. So we've got basil. That'll be a nice mouthful of herbs when it's time to eat. And then we're going to finish it off with a bit of grinding of pepper, and that is soup number 3. So this is our chicken and cabbage soup. Another thing you could do with this instead of the cabbage, I'll tell you, got so many little tips for you guys today, is instead of the cabbage you can do the chicken and the broth just like how we've been doing it, and then go for your Asian greens. So this is, and I forget the name because of course I have, but it is absolutely no, it's not bok choy. Anyone else? Does anyone know what this is? I've got the name on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember. But it's delicious. It is the absolute best. And what I would do is, you see we've got quite thick roots at the end there. I would chop these off there, get rid of those, discard those, and then I would chop through this beautiful bunch of vibrant green Asian vegetables. And where I added the cabbage, so when the soup and the chicken came to the boil, I would add, not bok choy, whatever the can't remember the name. Has anyone come with the name? Oh, guys, come on. I can't remember. But you look at it, you see it. Even if it was bok, you can use bok choy. You can use pak choy as well. But I love, these are some of my favourite. I would add it to the hot boiling broth and chicken, and I would leave it in there for about 30 seconds, and that's it. Because that's all these need to cook. They don't need as long as cabbage, and even though the cabbage was only in there for a couple of minutes. Just literally 30 seconds, and then plate up like we've done. So that's a nice little tip for you guys. But I have one more soup to show you, and I have left it for last for a very, very good reason. Thank you, lovely assistant of mine. We have our mother-in-law here. She's come all the way from New Zealand to visit us here in Sydney. Thank you, Priscilla. And she's handed me this bowl of soup. Looks completely different from the last soups, and that's why I left it to last. So in this soup here, I've used, of course, our Kombu stock. Of course I have, I've used our Kombu stock. But what I've done, which is completely different from the other ones, is I've blended it with a hand blender. So it's broccoli and cauliflower. So it's a vegetarian soup with our Kombu water. But I blended it, and blending is, as I said before, is not ideal when it comes to soup. We really want those vegetables to stay whole so we get all that wonderful fiber content. But every now and again, you can make yourself a blended soup. Not too often, but every now and again, make yourself a blended soup, because I love a good blended soup as well. And what I finished this one off with is I stuck in a couple of, once it was ready, once the broccoli and the cauliflower had cooked, about 10 minutes boiling in the kombu, I blended it up with my hand blender. I added all the normal garlic and ginger and all that sort of stuff. And then I added a couple tablespoons of cottage cheese, low-fat cottage cheese, and continued to blend it. So now we have a fabulous, creamy soup. So at this point, Mum had a couple of bowls of this for lunch. She also had one bowl which had shredded chicken on it as well. I have one more question.
Kylie, Donna, and Sher have asked, is it choy sum?
Choy sum. Sounds like it is, guys. I'm going to go with that. You know what? I think it is. Choy sum. It's Chinese broccoli. No, not Chinese broccoli. Oh my gosh. It's tip of my tongue. Let's go with choy sum, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming through with that. It's Chinese cabbage. I was going to say Chinese broccoli. It's Chinese cabbage. I think those are the correct two answers. Chinese cabbage and choy sum. It cost me $1.09 a bunch. How good is that? $1.09. Look at that. Fantastic. So that is our soup number 4, which is our blended. Remember, not too often with the blending. Let's try and have more soups that look like this one here, which is our whole cabbage and stuff. But if we must blend, you can. I'm not saying you can't, just not as often, because we want all that fibre in there. And if you can, and it's part of your diet, add a couple tablespoons of cottage cheese to that soup, and it will be absolutely fabulous. But that's all we have time for today. I have got lunch with the family. It's Mother's Day, take 2. We're having Mother's Day again today. I know it's a week late, but who cares, right? We're going to have Mother's Day as long as we want. So we're having Mother's Day part 2 today with the family. It's very exciting to have Mum here from New Zealand. We've got all our children around us, and we're going to have a fabulous afternoon. But I want to thank you guys for coming and visiting me in my kitchen. And if you want that recipe, remember all you need to say, those 2 recipes, is chicken soup please. You'll get the recipe for the kombu water, you get the recipe for the first 2 soups that we've done. I can't remember which ones we've done so many. But if you'd like the recipe for the last 2 soups, including this wonderful blended soup, I'll be posting this soup up on Bridget's Kitchen, the blended one, within the next couple of days. So you can get the recipe there. But thank you guys. It's been an absolute pleasure having you join me. I hope to see you again real soon. Keep an eye out on Bridget's Kitchen this week. We've got some fabulous recipes coming up for you. Take care.